podcast.
We're not sponsored by Coke. Get that out of there.
Can I tell you something?
No, you can't.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
You talk about my guy sponsoring this bullshit. He'll buy the whole fucking podcast thing. Doesn't buy this little fucking...
And we're live. Welcome to Talk is Sheep, a podcast brought to you by Sheepey Race. My name's Alfredo Mancuso. I'm with...
Alexander Soto.
And we have a special guest today, all the way from New Zealand.
No, he's from Australia. He's
I butchered him. Well,
so before we begin, I'm going to make this very clear. Parents, if you have toddlers or children around you, I'm going to advise you to send them upstairs. Or if you're cool with your kids listening to cunt and fucking shit every other word, then send it. So let's go ahead and get this party
give yourself a little brief introduction. Really, where are you from? What's your name? Give us some background.
So I'm Miloš Pavlovic from Australia.
One more time.
Miloš Pavlovic.
You're already choking up?
Yeah.
I'm not choking up Not all of us.
Get close to that mic, man. That's important.
Or you can pull it closer to you. You can adjust it.
I've tried everything.
There it is. You can destroy a motor or build one, I suppose, but you can't talk into a mic.
I can, but it's not something I like doing.
You're also the best person in this whole building to belittle Alex, and now you sound like a little girl.
No way. What are you doing? I've got plenty for him.
Feel free. Go in as much as you'd like. This is going to be the first time the audience is going to get that. I am a much more respectful man than you, so I keep it nice and cool with him. But you have at him.
So before we start, I just want to know, how does a Mexican call his company Sheepey Race?
This sounds like one of those jokes, like two Mexicans walk into a bar and one of them walks out named Sheepey. Well, he's told this story before.
I've told it many times. Long story short, it comes from my video game days when I was 15 years old, and it stuck around.
What would you have called it, Mick?
Me?
Yeah.
Clearly, whatever you've called the shops in the past didn't work out for you, so tell me what you have called it, buddy.
Oh, wait, hold on. I've always wanted to use this. Oh, wait, that's not the one.
No.
There you go.
I don't know. To be honest with you,
it was a joke, just so you know, and it got carried out. And by the time that I wanted to adjust the name, it was too late.
Unironically, you're decked out in Sheepey, so,
I've got it. I'm getting paid to do this, so...
Oh, I suppose. Well, and then as far as your background...
So, I grew up in Australia. Done automotive my whole life, performance work, stuff like that. I've got knowledge in machining, engine building,
cursing,
tuning, professionally cursing, Alex.
I like that caveat.
And wiring, pretty much anything in the performance industry that you could think of, we've done. Australia's a very large place, and to go and do things like in America, you have a close knit of shops very close to each other. So One guy does one thing, another guy does one thing. So you get that sort of variety of whatever you have to get done to your car. In Australia, pretty much one shop you go to and it does everything because it's so far apart.
Right, that's pretty impressive considering you guys got the internet only like a decade ago or something, right?
I think we ordered a decade. We didn't get it then.
Got it.
We only just got a couple of years ago. But yeah, so that was it. My father is from the Formula One background, so we did that.
And how did you end up in Dubai? Because when I first got introduced to you, you were coming from Dubai.
Yeah, so my brother is from Dubai. My brother's still in Dubai, so it's Mario. He does all the billet stuff. He does, pretty much anything in the performance industry. A lot of people know.
If you don't mind interrupting, if I do the drop is here, could you make sure you drop the pictures?
Okay, do you know? Okay, I don't like when you do the drop thing when I don't have the footage. Jesse had the footage and we hadn't approved it.
So if I could do the drop is here, can you make sure you get with Jesse? Because I'm sure these people watching want to see visuals.
Oh, they got tight. I'd rather you not do the drop thing because that adds extra pressure to us. But yeah, you want me to drop the billet engine?
I'd like to show the billet engine and the manifold.
That is easier.
Okay, that is.
I apologize to everyone last week because everyone got so butthurt about the video clip, but we didn't have it because there's some issues right now with the videos department, and also that footage is going in the vlog, and we don't have a lot of footage. We're trying to fix all that. So I didn't. It was intentional. I didn't put it in
the pictures of the billet stuff, so people understand.
No, it's amazing stuff.
Thank you, because I thought when you said drop it, Alex wanted me to drop my pants.
Well, you did that earlier, and we already know that you're all balls. I'm no shaft.
Comfortable now. Yeah, I'm comfortable now. No, that's big balls. That's just
big
normal. Balls. You get old, dude. Something shrinks. Something gets
opposite
bigger.
of Alex. no balls. That's from years of something else, I suppose.
So my brother's from, he's still doing machining in Dubai, and my father was with him. Then we actually migrated over to Qatar, which is next door, and we worked for Sheikh Khalid. Qatar, yeah. So they were working there, working for Sheikh Khalid, AAP, LNRB Performance, And Dad just recently he resigned. Like he wants to obviously retire. He's in his old age now, so he's gone back to Europe. Murray is my brother is sort of up in the air whether I think he wants to move to America. I think this is going to be our next sort of place we want to come to and
why
finish with
downsize? Why downgrade from Dubai?
It's not the downgrading. Like, look, the fabulous life. Everyone says, it's beautiful stuff and that, but we'll have kids. And many people don't understand with that sort of culture. It's very heavy culture with with what they do. It's not what we do. So I want my family to grow up and go to a school with English speaking, just a different type of life. I've made the money there. It's good. I've made my money, done everything I have to do there, and I feel like coming to Alex was a good challenge, and I want something a bit more challenging, a bit more something that I want to.
Oh, you're at the right place then, for sure.
Yeah. So I was working for Al-Anabi for the last 4 years. I was the head engine guy, doing all the machining, all the engine tuning, everything there, basically doing that. And then I was introduced to Alex by my brother. I didn't even know who Alex. I didn't even know what Sheepey was, to be honest with you.
Still don't.
So I got introduced to Alex by my brother, and just relationship sort of blossomed from that. We could. Alex asked me, to help him out with something. I'd done it to my best, ability, and I think I'd done a pretty good job pretty quick.
I mean, you come with quite the legend already. Like, as soon as you were in here, everyone's like, that's that guy. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of whispering. And then I guess we should probably explain or elaborate. This is kind of tunes into just becoming more in-house. Everything will be here, which, not to confuse Sheepey Motors, which is our division of selling cars. You are the Sheepey motor guy. Like, this is our motor man.
Well, it's engines, because motors are electrical. Yeah. So the thing is, as we've talked in the past, is my dream to have everything made and done in-house. Now, granted, everybody has their strong point. I know enough about engines. Can I build you an engine? I probably can't. I don't have that specialty. This guy comes from.
You trying to take it smoke right now?
Sorry.
This guy comes bullshit?
He comes from building engines from some of the highest horsepower cars in the world. His family background probably better than anyone in our industry. So I've always had this thing that I was once told: do you want to become a doctor? You talk to a doctor. You want the best. You associate yourself with the best. So it was a big not risk. It was a lot of responsibility having Milo and his family commit to our brand and join the team, because essentially the gentleman, as he said, he has kids, he has a family. The guy has more built engines than anything in motorsports, with everyone in my building added up. So it's a big responsibility, but I also bite very big and chew very big, and I know that he is a key to our program. Clearly, our program, the stock motor stuff, works phenomenal. So all we're going to do is implement his profession in building motors and gearboxes into what we already have, make a couple extra 200-300 more horsepower, and be able to drive these cars in the street. It's kind of a win-win.
It doesn't sound like much when you say 200 to 300 horsepower, but when you talk about percentage-wise, that's like 30 to 40% more. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that is quite a jump.
He's playing it down a lot, and he knows he is.
He's trying to put you down. That's negging.
No,
you know what that is?
No. He knows. I think.
No, but let me ask for real. Are you guys familiar with negging?
No, I'm playing down the power. Listen, at the end of the day, you don't want to come out talking all this game. If you know enough about our background and company and you do a little research on him, you're going to know we didn't move this guy 6,000 miles away to fucking hold dick.
Right. But going back to the game is a book written by this pickup artist, and negging is a technique used on attractive women where you put them down when you meet them. So you're like, oh, what's up, ugly fug, or something. And they're like, oh. So they start feeling less secure about themselves. So you lower them, and then eventually you hear them like, you're not that bad,
Nah, this guy's fucking.
I think he's negging you. That's what I'm trying to get at. I would never do it to a woman, but what I'm watching here is make sure those pants are uptight.
Yeah, well, they can't get obviously.
So what we're gonna do with him is could we drop an image of his engine building area here?
Yeah.
We could drop a picture of his engine building. This is just the beginning, and the next step is buying all our own machinery to do everything in house. And we're not just talking some cheap machinery or crap. We're talking.
So when Alex is stressed out because of like finances and stuff like that, his vein in his forehead gets really big. So anytime he talks about it, I notice that it's like blub, 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 blub. And I think there's a little pimple that's going to pop now because of the vein. So quit making him spend so much money.
Hey, we need to spend money to make
But the way,
money.
we kind of alluded to this earlier in a private conversation, but things are changing in all areas of life right now because of just there's so many supply chain issues and whatnot. So as we get better and more, precise and more specialized in everything we do, also we have to be very, keep in mind that prices are about to change in all aspects of the life. So it is great that we have you in-house now, but also I notice you're very meticulous. So you already see the different things that are going to start becoming issues. Like there's smart components that we may not have even built before. And now it's like, oh, were you building for these, like you were saying, alternators and different things that you're adding on. So these are cool things that I noticed that I pick up really quickly on that I already see in the zeitgeist that, oh, we better handle this pretty soon because, one missed number could be 10 or 15% of a $50,000 build.
Right.
Easy,
Right.
yeah. Yep,
So that's what we're focused on right now. We have a lot of in-house testing that we're going to do, and as you guys know, we're really an open book. We share everything. So it's going to be a fun ride having him on the team. Now, granted, his personality is a little fucking off the end, right? But
I'm going to say right now he's a 2 of what he really is. Like you're very subdued.
Oh,
You're
yeah, he's calm.
even just his hands crossed like that are concerning me.
You should have seen him yesterday when we were vlogging. He was like, "Oh, I build engines." I'm like, "Oh, what happened to all the cunts in the Foxwell?"
Yeah, don't get that. I bet he's going to warm up.
We are real cunts.
We are, and I'm sure he's going to get very warmed up because as you see, like, there's nothing to it here. Just a little microphone. There's only one camera over there, but then eventually you realize like, oh yeah, 100,000 people are watching this. You're like, oh,
and then you're gonna start getting messages and so let's talk about this. In the last vlog in our Mexican Hispanic culture, there's this word that gets thrown around. It's called sas, right? Like means like hell yeah, right? So he thought that I meant like sick ass, right?
I watched that episode.
You did. It's a good
Actually,
episode.
it's the only episode I watched, and I was pretty bored, so that was the only thing I clicked on. Oh, sorry. No, I had to learn
So you watched it. So a lot of my
Sick ass.
Okay, so I got a lot of customers and have become acquaintances that started texting me like "Sas." I'm like, what the fuck? I got this one client. He's 57 years old, bro. Okay, straight fucking collar guy, right?
Yeah.
Big fucking hot shot wig in the corporate world. Texts me. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go look for some tias this weekend. Sas. I'm like, wait, is this really him texting me that shit?
The funny part is that when you kind of like are on this side of like setting the trend or whatever, I always feel like I'm just talking with my friends. So now it's like I got a lot of friends on the internet that'll just send me the same thing. Like some kid sent me a picture with his mom. He's like, "Is this a tia?" And I was like, "No, that's a tio." And he was like, "Are you insulting my mom?" I was like, "Wait, a tia is you're offering her up. I don't think you want that, right?"
Everybody DM me what you think is a tia, right?
Yeah,
we'll let you know if it's a tia.
What do you guys call scallies out in Australia?
What's that?
Do you know what scally is? Scallywag, like just a chick, like a tia would be kind of like a Hispanic woman is a little thick, curvaceous, like.
Well, see, in Australia, we don't like thick and curvaceous. We like
so you're not
good looking.
You don't fall in that demographic then.
Our chicks are a little bit different. I think Australians got the hottest chicks in the world.
So what's a good looking
They're
chick
alright.
to you? Big butt, big boobs, or more on the lean
My
side?
wife is the best.
You're paid to say this. You don't even see a wedding ring on you.
That's another story.
That's a work-related injury. You don't want to lose a finger,
Exactly,
of course.
yes,
yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, you don't want to lose a finger.
Luckily, I'm not married, so but.
Nah, my wife doesn't want. Yeah, don't even talk about the ring because that's. Yeah,
Oh, touchy.
Oh, she's gonna hear this. And
Did
then
you
she's
wear
gonna
a
ask me
ring
the
when you were
first
married?
thing.
When I was married?
Yeah.
No, she's too mad.
Johnny has photos of you from back in the day, like you were holding a beer, and it'd be the wedding ring. He's like, "Where did that come from?"
I think I wore it for a little bit, and then it just sat in my desk. I think it's still in my desk.
Like with your Rolexes.
And the
Plural.
stacks.
Yeah.
Between the stacks of Rolex, this is somewhere there.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you're ever short on payroll, you know where to go.
But I'm back to the thing what Alex was talking about, the machines. I want everyone to know that we're doing a massive, massive change, and not just for Sheepey. I think for this part of California, like this part of the region, Alex is investing heavily into the best equipment. Not like, oh, it's there. It is the best equipment. So I do things very precise, very, very meticulous. And the equipment that we're buying is that second to none. It is absolutely precise equipment. So what you can bring in, like what your finishing is what your performance is going to be in.
Right.
And that's why I laugh when we all had that little giggle, like Alex says, 200-300 horsepower.
Right.
We will add 200-300 horsepower on the factory stuff.
Right.
That basically we're doing just in the performance work that we're doing. No added, nothing else. Because everybody knows, turn the boost up, you got the power. But we've got some pretty, I would say, I'll let Alex talk about it, but pretty big builds with the, with the billet engines and the stuff going on. My focus, I mean, I hope Alex is, but me and him share probably the same sort of tunnel vision. Is we want to be the fastest.
Right.
We want to go to that track and we want to smack.
Everybody.
Whoever the number one is now at the moment, we want to.
When you get into like the precision times for the lay people at home, the precision side of things, you mean like you're able to get down to like the micromillimeters where you're pushing things as far as you can.
Well, so your human hair is pretty much 3 thou.
Right.
To give you an example, that's your human. So if you pull out one piece of hair, your beard or your hair, you pull it out, it's 3 thou. Like I'm working within 2/10, 3/10. Mm-hmm. So that gives you of how precise I actually put these things together.
Right.
So if you've got a human hair, and most people go, oh, that's nothing, it's all right. And a lot of people do build their stuff like that. We go that extra,
So to give an example, and a lot of it has to do with, it's not about how much money you have. I think I've made it kind of a fact to all my followers. It does not matter how much money you have. It's who you know, okay? So I'm going to use an example. We have a billet engine that's going in a car right now. And there was not an error, but something that needed to be adjusted. We'll leave it that we could do in-house. But the guy that cut that billet motor is not some big corporate aerospace wig down the street that I gotta email one guy to get to this guy, to get to his engineer, to get the guy that cuts it. We pick up the phone and we call his brother in Dubai. Hey, we need this adjusted. No problem. Going on the program right now. So it's not about the money. It's about the relationships, right? It's all about relationships. So I don't mean to be egotistic. I've said this in the past with my CNC and my development for motorsports. I got the best team behind me now. One call away. They flew here from Dubai to hang out with me for a week. After that week, this guy says, hey, you got a fucking great thing going here. Let's do some shit. So it's about relationships. And that's why I always chuckle when people, you got these big wigs spending all this money. I was like, all right, I'll see you in 2 years. I'll see you in 1 year. I don't have money like that. We all know this. I've worked hard to get where I'm at, right? It's all self-funded and making wise moves in relationships with certain people. But it's who you know and who you have on your team. This guy he's talking about the meticulous of how he builds motors. We were going to build a motor, put it in a car, put it on the dyno, beat the shit out of it for 2 hours, pull it back out of the car, rip it down to inspect. I can tell you, I can't count any shop in our industry other than probably one that has done that and has the ability to do that. Now, let's just say the machine works is a little off. They now have to wait. Say they're testing on a Friday night. They got to wait till Monday to take the block and the crankshaft back to the machine shop to machine things. We're not going to do that shit. If we rip the motor apart at 11 o'clock on Friday night, at 11:30 he's going to be on the machine building it back up back on the dyno Saturday. That is a true motorsport way of running a shop.
Right.
Okay. It does not matter what school you went to, who fucking sponsored you, or how good of an engine builder you are. It's the resources that you have in house, and that's a big thing in the industry that is not painted correctly. The internet can paint you. We can paint whatever we want. I'm not going to paint you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to walk you through it.
I think that, excuse me, the issue is that when you just see Instagram or one caveat of anything, you only see the one dimension.
Right.
So anybody can go and take their exotic and get some work done to it. Then anybody can go and get a stage 1. But to go in and to really do the stuff that you guys are now talking about, where tearing the whole thing apart, boring things out, billeting, and all these other things, that's like top tier dimension. And I don't think that gets covered enough or showcased enough. And I think also because of that extra level of investment that people almost get turned off when you're just a lay person on the internet. You're like, I want to see cars go fast. Oh, that was a $50,000 build. Oh, that was a $250,000 build. And I think that kind of sometimes goes over their head because they're thinking about money and not the effort that went into it, the R&D, flying parts around the world, overnight shipping, and all these other issues that really do compound. And that's why you get these like exorbitant numbers. But then that's when you own the land speed record for a stock motor or billeted motor or whatever that caveat is,
Yeah, so that's the whole thing where it doesn't matter, it's more of who's on your team and your resources. And one of my biggest things that I'm proud of in the past, honestly, this year, other than this building, is adding him to the team. All bullshit aside, this was a big move, which we've talked about the expenses of getting in here, but adding him to my team, I can tell you right now, I walk around and I wake up smiling even more because I understand.
Calling you a cunt the whole time. That's
right, yeah. It's 8:30 at night and I get a text message, are you happy, cunt? I'm like, it's 8:30 at fucking night. Leave me alone,
It was actually 9:30.
Would you say that's the most versatile word in Australia, cunt? Because it goes by with everything. Sick cunt, dope cunt, you're just a cunt.
I only just realised in America that word's pretty bad. You call someone that and they're like, wow.
Yeah.
But in Australia, it's like, you're my cunt. You're a sick cunt. That's awesome. So it's a different, I can't believe from 0 to 100 how much a difference, you know what I mean? Like it blows me away. So I'm sort of keeping that to myself.
You probably wouldn't thank the McDonald's employee as a sick cunt when he gives you a burger, but
yesterday at the shop,
he did it?
No, so we had a shop meeting, right? An entire staff meeting, and they started talking. He's like, came in just, rawr. I'm like, fuck, here we go. I'm like, hey, these are all the American California employees. Like, tone it down just a couple notches.
I mean, there's another word that's pretty prevalent in this building that starts with an F and ends with a T. And I don't know, that one gets used quite a bit, and that one's pretty much on par with cunt in Australia, you know?
Yeah, that one's actually worse.
Oh, yeah.
That one's actually worse.
If we say it here, bloop, 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 we get demonetized. We don't want to do that.
Nah, I don't want to offend anybody. So yeah, that's the whole thing that we got going on right now. So it's a lot of expenses in what we're doing, but we were blessed where we have something that most startup shops have. Let's talk about the dealership. Let's go back to Sheepey Motors. When you drive home tonight, I want you to count how many dealerships you see. Okay?
Like any brand ones.
Just count them. And they all struggle. We could start a dealership, not market it, not promote it, and sell everything we post within 12 to 24 hours. Without even trying. And it comes from that guy behind you. It's the brand market behind it. So we have the brand, we have the marketing to essentially sell whatever we publish, right? So it's a great problem to have. Now, it could also be a very bad problem because if you don't execute it properly, you could fail at it. So that's why with this engine program and everything I got going on with Mick, the moment you see me make a post about it with that car running, that's it. That means he and him have done our testing. We've ran the draggies. A big problem with our industry is everyone's posting these fucking dyno numbers, and I'm so sick of it. I made 1,500. Listen, bro, put your shit on the fucking street and run it. Show me a draggy time. Because my dyno, I'll tell you what, my highest horsepower car made 1,031 wheel horsepower. That's not a lot of power, right? If we're thinking about dyno numbers. But that car goes 820s in the quarter mile. Okay? So this whole dyno number thing, put your car on the track, put it on the road, let's show some draggies, because our customers spending these 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s don't care about that paper they're going to put on their wall. This isn't a reward trophy paper. You're going to go home, look at wife, I made 1,400 horsepower. Okay, cool. So you spent $100,000 on a car that can't even run a number. Good job, buddy. Right? So when you see us post something, we're running numbers. That's what we've always done. We run numbers. And you could go on our Instagram and look back a year and a half ago. I remember going 3.9s was hard. I remember going 3.7s, 3.5s took me a milestone. Then all of a sudden I went from 3.5s to 3.20s, and I thought going 2.90s was impossible with Yuri. It was a joke. That's what the name Mac Daddy comes from, by the way. Did you know that? My Russian friend. We built him a car, and he was like, what do you think it'll go in the draggy? I said, 350s. Makes a hit, goes 320s. I'm like, what the fuck? Something's wrong. Pull the data. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of room for improvement. And so every night
let me stop you there. You thought it went wrong the other way. You're like 320.
That's fast.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I wanted a 350. 320, it was a big, because then my car's pushing him was 350s.
Right.
Then all of a sudden he runs and it goes to 320. I'm like, what the fuck did we do? And that's when we did a lot of change in transmission TCM development of how the transmission does the torque stuff.
Right.
And then when 320, like, well, let's start leaning in it even more. And all of a sudden, he calls himself, it's a joke, he's like, I'm the Mac Daddy, right? I'm like, if you go 290s with your car, I'll call a package Mac Daddy.
No royalties. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely no royalty.
Instead of no homo, no royalty.
So guess what? We knew that to run a 290, it's all about conditions. You know this. So the air had to be perfect. We needed the right temperature in the tire. We need the intake air. We need all the stars to align. And he knew what it'd take to make the stars align. So he goes out and he makes a hit. And he calls me. And I'm just waking up. It was like a Sunday morning. He did it Sunday morning. I'm fucking hungover. I wake up. I'm like, what do you want? He's like, bro, I fucked up. Check your phone. I'm like, fuck. So I pull my phone. It's this fucking picture of the draggy. Fucking 298. I was like, motherfucker. And that's it. It was like, holy shit.
Where was you racing? Was it in Denver? Or anywhere like that where it's like, elevation?
We wouldn't be able to do it with that turbo kit. We couldn't do it, just need a lot bigger turbo. It was in Dallas. So, and then after that, like, cool, it's the Mac Daddy package. And it was literally a joke. Like, if you go this fast, I'll name this package. And now I've probably sold, I don't know, 40, 50 packages.
No royalty. Just want to beat that in there real quick. When Yuri gets you that text and I can say no royalty.
Yuri's gonna come in here. He's like, "Where's my check?"
I'm gonna take a line from Conor McGregor here. Call me Mystic Mac. That's gonna be the next line. No royalty. You're gonna get that DM. Like no royalty. So
now the next package is kind of basic, right? So with his engine, it's the Stage 3. It doesn't sound cool, right? Like fucking everybody. Oh, it's Stage 3, right? So I'm gonna change Stage 3 to something else, and it's gonna be related to
Daddy.
Mick. It's gonna be related to Mick over here.
Yeah, Mick Daddy.
Cunt package.
I can't do that, buddy. I can't do that.
Cunstradamus.
We can call it cunts. C-U-N-T-Z.
Mad Cunts. That was an Australian company.
Cunts.
Mad Cunts.
Mad cunts.
Just M-A-D-K-U-N-T-S. Mad Cunts.
Just call it cunts. It's such an easy.
I love the word, but I can't say that.
Imagine you driving and then you just got blown away by a Sheepey cunts package.
Well, you're already mad because you're like, Sheepey. That probably does aggravate some guy.
No. If I was from New Zealand, I would say, wow, that feels like home. You know what I mean? But you know what we say about sheep in New Zealand?
Sheep fuckers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, when I met Alex, I sort of really thought that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or worse.
We definitely got to come up with a cooler name for that package, but yeah, that's how that name came. It was a joke, and
I think it's going to be exciting. For my personal self, seeing what Alex does and coming into this building and seeing what type of work comes out of this building and just the quality, just the finished product, like what everyone's involved with. These people don't get to see is when the car gets built and everyone checks over it and everything has to be perfect. And you know, we have ideas from, you know, fabricators, from everyone else that we actually listen to. You know, we're a company that listens to our employees. If they come up with an idea, we will listen to them and we'll implement it. You know, we've changed, I'm sure, you know, like we've changed bits and pieces now even, you know, for the way the kits are, and just to make them better. So our kits are not just produced for us, or not, I wouldn't say for us, for the company to make money. We produce these kits because we love doing what we do. And all of us have a strength in what we do. And putting that, like Alex said, having this team now that he has, that can do pretty much anything and everything in-house. I giggle and I laugh at myself because I don't think people are going to see what's going to hit them. Right. Don't worry about it's what's going to hit them, because the next couple of cars that come out with the knowledge that we have and the equipment and everything that we have, I just think, personally, I want to say sorry to all the workshops because you're going to be pretty upset at what's going to come out. You know, we've fixed the gearbox program. We've come up with some other ideas that we want to do and stuff. The engine program, we've come up with this is the thing as well with Sheepey, we're not just copying what this guy's doing. We're innovating our own stuff. So
you want to talk about the pistons?
So
let's talk about the pistons for a little bit.
I've been building quite a few Lambo engines, and I know what everyone's using out there. And I come back, my background is from high horsepower. The one problem that Lamborghini has is the pistons and the way it's manufactured and some of the components they're using, which, I don't want to share that because that's what we know and that's what's going to make us better than the next guy. But there is problems there, and we've pulled apart engines that, high brand and high, very good workshops have put together, and it's a common problem that I saw. So our pistons and our rods are redesigned, and I actually custom made them to suit the power that we're chasing. Now, when I say the power we're chasing, all our pistons and rods will do 3,000 to 3,500 horsepower on a V10, that is.
Right.
So putting them in our state, like Alex said, we don't want to call them stage 1, stage 2, whatever it is. We're going to have names on our packages, but every engine that we do is going to have the same rod, the same piston. And there's a lot of also when people have redone the pistons, to put them inside the cars and to do, like compression ratios and stuff like that. We tune them. So by them doing what they're doing, we know what's happening to the car. And if anyone knows, or anyone that's actually gone in and tried to do anything with a Lamborghini, as in like actually put some thought and engineering to it, my personal self, and I've had a very good team back there to do it as well, replacing Lamborghini parts, you're pretty much going backwards. So that engine was designed on a full simulator. Like it is the best of everything you can think of. And I honestly warrant anybody, go and change a couple of things on it, and I'll guarantee you'll lose power.
Let's talk about the intake manifold really quick. When his brother was designing our intake manifold, he spent close to 100 hours on the flow, with whatever they do with their analysis on flow. And 100 hours of paying some of the smartest people in motorsports to make a billet piece to barely outflow it by 5%. Now, that number's not much, and it's not. But you know what I can promise you is you pull anybody's intake manifold off the market and you do a back-to-back test, 90% of them will make less power than factory.
Right.
Goes back to his comment about how perfect parts are from Lamborghini. Remember, Lamborghini is owned by Volkswagen, one of the biggest companies in the world. So to beat these parts, you're fucking tripping.
And like you said, simulations, and not to mention the R&D. Like, you got to think that the price points are high for Lamborghini, but I bet you 50, maybe 40% of the price is built into the R&D and all the reinvestment and marketing that they do to get that to these,
not even marketing. When was the last time you saw a Lamborghini TV commercial?
There's still other. I mean, racing itself is a form of marketing, so it's a different kind of budget.
I've never, to be honest,
honestly,
I've never
talking about marketing,
yeah.
they don't market. They don't do F1. They don't do shit. Yeah. But back to the designs of everything. You really take these things apart. The manifold, I think, is one of the funniest things. You know, this guy's coming out with the billet manifold. This guy's coming out with the billet manifold. This guy's coming out with the billet manifold. I'm like, I could show you 100 hours of testing with the guys that made mine. What about you? Oh, it's some guy that has CAD and he spent $1,000 on software and just scanned. He fucking took an OEM one and scanned it with some dude that he flew in.
And that's a big gamble for them. Like, they put that billet manifold in and it blows up.
It won't blow up. It won't blow up. It just doesn't make power. And the truth is, this is the fucked up part, is the end user will never know. The end user will never know.
That's absolutely correct. Like,
and I've been cool. I feel our company has been passive. We don't press. We see what everybody does. And there's only 1, 2, maybe 3 companies in this country that I actually salute. Like, yo, they fucking do a good job. All the other guys, you know, I don't think they understand. You pay this fucking guy to fly in. What's the name of that scanner?
So, what do you mean? Which scanner?
It scans the fucking part.
A 3D scanner.
Oh, like a 3D scanner.
Yeah, he pays this guy with the 3D scanner, right? He went and fucking took a course for 2 months to know how to use a machine. Guy spent fucking probably 20 grand buying the equipment. Flies him in, scans his fucking factory piece, and then just replicates it. Bro, you just made yourself like a fucking fool. Show me your testing, right? I can show you mine. I can show you all the guys. I can tell you all about Mario. Mario's Motec Middle East. He's Google them. So, but it's one thing making the piece versus making the piece with the right engineering behind it. His brother lost probably 100 grand. He made these manifolds and they flowed just like stock. He says, Alex, you can't use them. I'm throwing them away. I said, no, give them to me. Nope, not using them. Throwing them away.
Because you're not achieving nothing. And that's where our background is. Like, if you're going to sell someone something, you're going to sell them something that's going to work. Not going to sell them something that doesn't work, or let's say it's the same as standard. Because really, at the end of the day, why are you replacing it if it's going to be a standard? So you want to make some sort of power out of it. Like I personally spent probably about 60 hours simulating camshafts just on the Lamborghini, and I can show you all the results, and I can show you everything. And I could not with all the camshaft, and with speaking to some of the guys, I tried combos that I know work. And does not work in Lamborghini. And you know what? The computer spat back out the software that gives us. We've made massive power, like on all our big engines. It spat out exactly the numbers that the camshaft is in that Lamborghini. Because I already had that camshaft because I had a cam doctor, so I've already timed it. I've already done it, so I know the specs of it. It spat out exactly the same specs, and we were all there. Myron was there too. It blew us away. Like, wow, okay. So that was one thing that I'm not going to touch. It's there. It's good. We can make some camshafts that me and Alex probably will do, as in later on. But the camshafts that we come up with and anything that was based upon that wasn't around the factory, all the power gains came from 9,000 to 10,000, which is good. Built block, stuff like that, yes, but we're talking maybe 5%, 10% of the people are going to go that way.
I wouldn't even say 5.
Yeah. So,
I mean, the cars like that are like Dylan Jacobs, right? His Lambo's got a billet motor. Dylan is, he builds things to the best of the best, and he understands when things break, they break. If you got to build within your means. If you can't afford, for your car to break, build a package that you can get in and drive it every day. And we all get carried away with building outside of our means, and it's normal. So now I try to really focus on guiding people correctly to be in a package that's within their means. Just because I had a conversation with a guy about an hour ago. He's like, hey, what's the difference between a 16 and a 2,000 horsepower package? Clutch and transmission. The motors will take it, but it's the clutch and transmission that's going to break all the time. The clutch is like a brake pad. You're going to service it. 2,000 horsepower, that thing will be at the shop all the time. Get a new clutch. It just comes with the territory, right? So it's building within your means and building a car that's going to suit what you want to do. And it's going to be in our control to guide you properly, because the last thing I want to do is have a customer that does not understand that and fucking blowing us up all the time, right? So,
but that's not something you specialize in. So that kind of like, it's more about the education on that side of things. Like, well, we're not necessarily building clutches here. Switch them out.
It's very refreshing working with someone that actually cares about customers, that doesn't have to bullshit and try to sell them something just to make them, to make the money in the bank. Like, I've seen him. He'll turn down a customer that says, I want this. Look, how about you do this? Because that's not for you. And that's what I love about Alex. Like, his passion is not the money side. His passion is the delivering of what the customer wants, the package. So, like you said, you can sell 2,000 horsepower package. First of all, we're going to drive 2,000 horsepower. Nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to do roll racing and do this and that. Like you said, you're going to break things. There is other things on that car that, let's put the engine and gearbox aside, there's other things you're going to break. So wouldn't it be better for you to go, you know, for myself anyway, Alex will say, listen, wouldn't it be better for you to buy this package and you're going to love it? It's going to be more than what you're going to handle and you're going to enjoy it. And I love that about him. He doesn't have to upsell something stupid to the customer that's never going to use it.
I mean, in the first podcast, we talked about the customer that was afraid to drive his car already. And like, he was at the track and he was just like, oh, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. And that's what I, back to the beginning of the podcast where I said, we have such a strong brand and following where we're so fortunate and blessed that whatever we put out, people are going to buy it. That's why if I made a post tonight, 1,600 horsepower package is ready to go, I would have a phone flooded of text messages from past customers, book me in. Because they know it's going to work. But you got to be so careful because it could be so bad. So I don't.
I mean, right now we're sitting on a what, 3 to 6 month waiting list, anyways.
3 to 4, yeah. And that's Alonso being like, you know, cautious. Like with him here, he's like, yo, I'll knock him out. So right now, I'm the aggressive one, and Alonso's like down here, you know, and he's safe. So now we got to bump him up a little bit because we have Mick here. And Mick's just as aggressive, but Mick doesn't give a fuck about the liberal hours of I have to work to 8 to 5. Mick's going to get it done, right? So now it's me getting Alonso comfortable. Like, hey, Mick is here for a reason. Let's go to war. Now it's wartime. We played the political roles. We cool with everybody. At this point, if you're not behind my closed doors or you're not a part of my team, I hate to say this, I'm not on your fucking team. I'm not your friend. I have a handful of friends, and I got my kids I need to impress. At this point, I'm all about building fast cars and going to war. You know what I'm saying?
And reliable.
And reliable. You know, I put out a lot of information. You know, I've helped a lot of people. I'm fucking over it. You know, I've had him and other people like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, no, you know, he's my friend. No, we're done.
But it's like that old adage, you know, 4 eyes see better than 2. And now you have a whole little fleet here that see a lot of different things that, hey, we're not exactly meeting the expectations here, or you're just being too generous, you know?
Too generous. And, you know, I'm not complaining because, as we all know, if I get one click aggressive, it's game on. And I've been really aggressive with everything around here lately, you know? As far as even staffing and operations, we all come here for one ultimate reason, right? I'm going to speak for both of us. We have children. Well, the story, we have children. Like he said, he moved across the world for his children. If he was single with no kids and wife, I guarantee you he would not be sitting here.
Yeah, but don't go that far. Mm-hmm. Don't go that far.
You wouldn't be sitting here?
Oh, I would. Yeah.
Fuck no, you'd be in Qatar living the fucking life.
Oh, not really. I'll be here with cunts.
Yeah. There'd be girls waiting in the other room, yeah. Or right back there.
We call it Diaz.
Yeah.
No, but he's right.
You know, it's you know, as a single man with his talent, bro, you could fucking live in a penthouse in Dubai and live the life. What single man wouldn't want that? I would. I'm not going to lie. Listen, I'm not saying I don't love my life. I love having 3 kids, being ultimate dad. As he's seen middle of the day, where do I go middle of the day?
See your kids.
See my kids.
Yep.
My kids, I do everything that I do. I got customers that are really cool. Like, hey, man, I'm sorry. You're not bugging me. It's my job. It's my responsibility because this all feeds those 3 little children that impress me. That's it. You know, everybody, you know, I want to impress them. You know, as you guys all see my big head and all my other 2 children, I start coming around more often. But, you know, it's the end goal of being productive and grow this company. I mean, you saw a vision, right? You drive 80 miles to come here. You don't need to come here. You have so many gigs in LA. But you see the vision, and you feed me the vision. Because sometimes I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, listen. Hey, he's like, I'm telling you, you could do this. Between all our minds, it's just like this fucking monster that's growing so big that when I go to work every morning, my friend's like, what are you working on? I was like, just wait and see, buddy. Just wait and see.
Well, I think I told you this. This is maybe 12, no, like 15 months ago, 16 months ago, a little more than a year ago. I was like, you should just be a scout. Like, you just have a talent for finding really good people. Like, all around you, every person here, even some of the employees you had to let go, unfortunately, every person here up until that point has served a really good purpose of what they're doing, you know? Yeah. And you picked loyal people. Like, I don't know him that well, but I can tell he's probably a loyal cunt, you know? Yeah. Like, I have this saying about, like, I only...
suck it.
Yeah. I have this saying about, I only trust people as far as I could throw them, so I only trust babies, because I could throw the shit out of those guys, you know? But, you know, you can tell that a lot of people here are here for more reasons than just getting paid. You know, like, we can all, like you said, we can all get gigs, we can all get paid, but building towards something is synergy, and I think we all like that bouncing off, you know, and like anything, there's rough days, but it's more like come here and you regroup, you start thinking about everything you're building, and like this wall is a prime example of all the accomplishments in the last, let's say, 4
That's
up
2
to
years.
6. This is just 2 years. Oh,
That's it.
all right. Let's say this wall will be 5 to 10 times bigger in 2 more years. You know what I mean?
Actually, that's about a year and a half.
Yeah, and imagine like this is before all these crazy new records we're about to have. So this is almost like a testament to as the brand gets bigger, we're probably gonna have to just keep updating it, making it tiny.
We'll just keep adding to the walls.
Yeah,
Keep going.
we'll have to just do
And
the different angles.
As you spoke about the records, and Alex knows the same thing. Like, we're going to break things. That's life. That's what happens. But
Hyman
we're
does
going to fix them, and we're going to. If we break something, then you should be proud and happy because we're going to fix it. You're not going to break it. So that's just part of development. And anyone that can go out there and say, "Oh, this thing's been going for 10 years, and nothing wrong with it," you ain't pushed it. Simple as that. You have to break things to know where the limit is. You have to break things to find out what's going to happen with it. You have to break things to, that's part of your development. And when I say break things, I'm talking making power, legit things, not stupid things. You know what I mean? I mean, Alex has been in the industry for a long time and he's seen, you can break something because the guy doesn't know how to do something properly. We're not talking about that breakages. We're talking about breakages from raw horsepower, from raw, tearing a gear set to pieces.
I had a shop in Europe that does V10 twin turbo. I was like, so what's the breaking point on the stock motor? I literally replied with the emoji smiley face. I'm like, figure it the fuck out. I figured it out. Why am I going to tell you? So it's but the thing is, mile an hour never lies. So if you're smart, which a lot of the other shops are, they see the mile an hour and they know, well, if he's running that mile an hour, we know how much power he's making and we know how much boost he's having to crank in it. It's kind of, if you're in the industry and you know what turbos put out, what fuel systems do, what kind of fuel on it, you could kind of
Reverse engineer it. Yeah.
You could show me any car and you tell me what fuel's in it, what size turbos, and I could tell you roughly. Give me a mile an hour, I can tell you how much power it makes. But because we've been in the industry for so long, so it's when I started pushing these crazy numbers, people were like, he's not making 1,000 horsepower, he's fucking making some big jam.
Right.
And it's like on a stock motor, scratching head, and yeah.
And they probably don't text you like, "Hey, what's up, man? It's 11 p.m. We let you know."
They got a different name of the texting one.
Oh yeah. One of the apps scrambles everything. So speaking of which, does that mean that we're gonna have kind of like at least an idea of when one of the first cars you can develop? Like maybe there's gonna be an event that we're gonna pull up on and just kind of like
it won't be an event. It'll be more like draggy posts, as you guys know in America. A lot of our clients and people are all about draggy racing. Due to COVID last year, we've been limited. Now the tracks are reopening and a lot of events coming up where people had to turn to going to race in Mexico and doing draggy hits, 60 to 130. So, and the next...
That's what a draggy... you got to explain to some people that probably don't.
People are watching. Draggy's an application. You buy this little device. It's ran by GPS and satellites. You buy the app, you download the app, and it measures different things from 0 to 60, 60 to 130, 60 to 150, 100 to 150, quarter mile, half mile, etc. So the biggest form of kind of dick measuring these days is what your car runs from 60 miles an hour to 130. Okay. Now, the big power rear-wheel drive cars don't like doing that. But in the all-wheel drive world, it kind of shows your talent because it's like this guy's TC system works really good. His boost control system's really good. His tune is really good. Because going 100 miles an hour to 150 is just dump all the fucking power in it. So 60 to 130 really shows, okay, this guy's going 320, 60 to 130 with just a 888 tire in the back. It's a fucking street tire. What's he doing? It means he's put a lot of time and effort into his traction control, his boost control, his power control, and the most important gear, which is the first gear you hit it in. Because once you click the next gear, the car has so much momentum that you can just dump the full power that you can into it. Now, with our cars, it's like acceleration because we're limited to how much power we can make because it's still a stock fucking motor. Now, you throw in my development of what I've done, 60 to 130 on a stock motor, right? So I'm going to strategize, use the same strategy that I use from when I take off with our boost control and our traction control. And the moment it clicks fourth gear, I'm going to dump in an additional 300 horsepower. It's going to give it a couple tens, right? So my objective is to sell you turnkey cars with real street rims and tires that look like a street car, not fucking 18-inch rims on a drag radial. Full street car and go 280s, 290s, 60 to 130. You fill up at a pump ethanol, you take your wife to dinner in it, you drive to Vegas and you have a good time. See you later. Have a good time. So you're going to be seeing that in the next couple weeks.
So, okay, so just for the internet to know, so towards the end of July, there'll be something out there for them. Because you know how this goes, like every other podcast from here. So what's up with that time attack? Oh, what's up with these records? What's up with this? Like, what's up?
I can tell you right now, and I'm not speaking out of my ass, it's by the end of July, you'll see quite some posts being posted.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to jump ahead of the peanut gallery before they get there.
I think our biggest event, I think the event that will, if I'm hoping for everything to go well and we can get a cart, will be probably the Florida 2K.
Oh, we'll have.
And that's a big one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I think that'll be probably an event that.
That'll be the event that we come
go
out
there.
swinging.
Yeah,
So we have a
yeah.
car. So Clay, fuck, what's Clay's name? Gerson. Clay Gerson, is that his
Think
name?
so.
Yeah, Clay from Florida. He was a customer. Started as a customer, became a friend. Cool guy. This guy's all the fucking about it. This guy, I mean, haven't met such a diehard motorsport guy in a long time. Like, the guy's able to afford to build these cars and still down to get rid. He's like, I'll fly in and fucking help you rent. So his R8 just got here. Had an incident with his Huracan, hit some debris, fucked the motor up, did some shit. He's like, you know what? Start fresh to an R8, but this time I'm gonna go fucking balls to the walls. He bought an engine core, so Mick could get ahead of the time. The engine core gets here tomorrow, and Mick tears it apart, builds it right away. So that car, 100%, will be at Florida 2K, and it'll be one of the big builds because Clay's about it, and as you guys all know, Mick's not here to fucking hold his dick. He's here to get to work. So Clay's car will be one car that will be at Florida 2K, with a couple other little ones, maybe a little horsepower, lower power, like 1600 ones. But we will be there with a handful of cars to really to compete, right? I'm gonna go to compete with my acquaintances that I respectfully, have relationships with, and for what we've done, and I just got a Facebook gives you memories, right? I had the memory from when we built our first turbo kit in 2017.
See,
Only 4 years. Look at you.
In 2017, my little 1,200 square foot shop in Paris. I just got the memory this morning.
and how proud are you to sit? I mean, people don't get to see the building because obviously we're on a podcast. But how proud are you to walk in? Don't worry about walking in. Just driving up to this place, just driving up to it. Like, how proud are you to come up and go, I did this? And then, and so I wish we could, like you said, I wish we could put photos of what it looks like outside.
No, we can.
because it's
No,
huge.
we can.
And then, just in a matter of 2 weeks, the engine place, the fabrication, the everything that's planned and everything that we have going on at the moment, like, how does that make you feel? Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's come from a little garage.
It makes me feel great, but I also, why I'm so hard on myself, he'll tell you I'm hard. It's because it's not all me. It's you, the yous and the clients and the people that believe in me, my people behind me that, I talk to every day, 458 Destroyer, like people like you guys have helped create this. There's no way in hell I could do this by myself.
Yeah, but you've still got to select those people. You still, you still got to select those people. You still got to, at the end of the day, you still got to pay those people. So it's still a massive burden. You know what I mean? Like is burden.
Burden is perfect.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a good
cool.
word.
Okay, so it's a massive burden to have. I know, going. You got to go home at 5, 6. I mean, everyone thinks we go home at 5. We don't. We go home at 6, and whenever we finish. So you go home. Your brain is never stopping because you're always thinking, tomorrow I've got to pay these bills, I've got to pay this. And it's a massive, massive operation. I don't care whichever way you look at it, it's a massive operation. So there is so many people to get paid. There's so much, electricity, gas, parts, you name it. I mean, we've got everything here. And plus we've got stock. We've got a lot of stock here to keep all of these guys happy, getting their build. So, you know what I mean? Like, it must be very...
It's rewarding. I know I don't mean to sound like an ignorant fuck. I don't really ever feel it. I think I felt it once, very little. And people always tell me, like him and like you now, people always, I'm very hard on myself, right? When I hit it is when I'm in public and someone comes up to me, like, dude, it is fucking crazy to see what you've created. I went back home, 4th of July, I was waiting for my girl and my kid to land at the airport. So I had to go drive to the parents' house in Riverside, so I had to drive through my old town. And I exited, and this town is Paris. It's lower income, but that is home to me. I still own that house in the neighborhood, and I drove to the neighborhood, man, just flashbacks, memories, and one of the families is, my old friends still live there, and his son's out there. He's like, is that you? Alex, what the fuck's going on? I get out, give him a hug, go inside, see his parents, and they're so happy to see me. Like, we're so proud of you, man. We're so proud of you. We remember when you'd be up at 3, 4 in the morning out of your little garage grinding away, So
it's like a ghetto?
It's not ghetto, but
like
it's...
Copton or whatever it is like
It's
that?
like a ghetto. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
No, it's a nice neighborhood, but it's...
Mexican?
Yeah, hell yeah, brother. Come on.
So it's a ghetto. Mexican sort of thing. Okay, he's playing down, but
The two non-Mexicans are here bonding.
Careful, a lot of people watching are Mexican.
Latino
No, but
guy.
it's not like it's lower. It's not fucking Temecula wine country. It's just the suburbs, right? Little town. But I bought the house when I was 22 years old. I started my little grinding thing. It's a 3-car garage with one double wide and then one single. I started as a little single guy, and that was humbling. That felt good, right? Because then they say, like, dude, we're so proud of you. We watch everything you do, you know. Those kind of things, you know, makes me feel good. I am proud. I'm very proud and fortunate to be here, but I also do know, I guess why I don't let it sink in is because, like, I work fucking hard day in and day out. I go to sleep working, I wake up working, I work all the time, as we all do, right? But yeah, it's a rewarding thing. It's cool, and I'm more proud of what the future's about to bring, you know. So
yeah, I think
it is cool though when you hit the corner and you see the sheep. So you know,
Yeah,
it almost looks like a little like the Batman symbol, you know, like.
But I don't think people realize how big the building is. So.
I think you need to show like maybe like
an aerial
picture.
Yeah, it's.
If I can find a good one.
I can deliver. It is huge. It is a massive, huge building with.
Have you swept it yet?
Everything. Have I what?
Have you swept it yet? You swept your little area? I mean, even your little tour area is pretty big.
Everything, like everything here. And you know, we made sure that whatever we're going to do, what we're investing in, is to show what we're... See, our engine builds are not cheap, okay? So, but they are priced according to what we're giving the customer. So if you get a first-year mechanic that, you know, just knows how to torque up a head gasket, so imagine him building these engines, right? So you're going to charge... Just an example, let's say 50,000 to build this engine, and then you're going to pay a guy to come that has all this experience that know that you can walk away tomorrow, you know that thing's going to make 2,000 horsepower, and you charge 50,000. So that's the thing. We're not actually lifting our prices up. We're not charging any extra or anything else. You know, really, Alex is eating the, you know what I mean, the cost of it. We're still keeping the cost of a normal thing, but the package that these guys are getting, so everything that we're giving to these guys, they're benefiting, you know. And it's no, like I said to Alex, there's no brainer. Like anyone that sort of wants to, I'm sort of passionate about that sort of stuff. And anyone that goes anywhere else, well, it's their bad luck. Right. But really, it is like I would love to put a challenge up. I'm happy. Let's see how they do it. Let's see what we do, and we'll put a list of what they use, put a list of what we use, and I guarantee you we'll blow them out of the water. And I done a simple little thing this morning. I showed Alex, said, this is what you paid for. This is what you got. And I'm coming straight up. I'll tell you straight. Honestly, I said to him, I would not piss on this thing. That's how embarrassed I was for what he paid for what he got, right. And that's straight down the line. No names. Who cares what it is? But that's what it came to. And I said, Alex, what we're about to give to customers gonna blow their minds, and that's what it is. And we're not charging any extra. Like. Our pricing is going to be the same as...
It's the same. It's the same as a competitor. I mean, even 458 Destroyer's like, wait, how much are you charging for an engine? I told him, he's like, that's too cheap. I'm like, well, it's not... I mean, it's not too cheap. It is cheap, but it's you know, when I first entered this market, I have a friend above me that advises a lot. He's like, you need to raise your price on this. You need to raise your price on that. And it's like, man, I'm not trying to fucking retire off of a sale. I want everybody to build these cars and have fun, you know. So we're gonna give you great product at a competitive price. Like, we're not trying to get rich off of it. And granted, I could literally go and tell Alonzo increase 20%. Our sales aren't gonna get affected. I'm not trying to do that either, you know. So just trying to make sure everybody eats.
No, they're gonna eat.
This guy's imported, man. He's gonna be expensive.
Just
caviar. I saw you already. Oh, you gotta tell him what was it you were eating earlier? What'd you call it?
Okay, so. For everyone that's watching, in Australia, us Europeans, we're called wogs.
Wog.
So he said to me, what are you eating? I said, I'm just eating a wog sandwich. And he's like, oh, what? I said, a wog, wog sandwich. He said, what's that? And I said, salami and stuff like that. He goes, what's a wog? And I said, oh, you're not Australian, so you're never going to... See, Australia's the best, right? So you guys never going to understand. Simple as that.
Hey, you're never what country are you in right
now? And then I said to him, where are you from? He goes, I'm from, I'm Italian. And Argentina. I said, dude, you're a wog. That's what a wog. European is a wog, you know what I mean? So all your Australian followers, everyone that's watching, they'll understand. That will be probably giggling and laughing and doing. They're like, you sick cunt, and our woggers.
And then all our Mexicans are like, sauce that fool.
Yeah, and then the Tias are like, damn, he's hot
fool. So that was the thing. It's nothing. I mean, we have different words, It's good in the shop because.
It's funny as shit.
It is funny. It is.
I don't know, man. I saw like 3 dudes over there working their asses off. They're intimidated by you.
You know what? And that's the other thing. It's not us. Like, I came into here to help Alex, and at dinner that I had shops and that, so I know what it's like. when you come across as a friend, and it's hard to say this, but when you come across as a friend to everyone, people not take advantage, but they slow down, they ease up. So you don't get the performance out of the guy. And for us to go and continue and to have the growth that we want to have, we need the performance of the people that we're employing. So it's not about, we know you can do it, so let's do it. And that was it. It was just a meeting we had, and it just, I want the best out of everyone. You're not going to come down hard. I don't want to come down and pound them and hit them with a hammer and smash them. I just want to just slap them. A bit of a tap. Let's do this. And they are, and they're working good. So far, everything is going good. I hope. We've implemented a lot of stuff to go inside of it, and it's working quite great. Except for Alex, he thinks I'm a shit tuner, but I don't care.
Oh my god!
I was waiting for. So Alex always asks me like, "Oh, do you have some notes for this?" And I think he knows that they're all in my head, so I always have something to say. And when you guys were like, "Oh, building motors," I was like, "So, how's the tuning going?" Because I don't think you guys see eye to eye there. It's up to you guys. We get.
No, I'll talk about it. He's let me tune this car. He takes the laptop, right? And I have this way I do things. Was he
Indian there? What was that?
No. So he fucking sits on the passenger seat, right? And I'm.
Would you like a cup of tea with that one, please?
I'm sitting driver's seat, and I have this routine that I do. And I get on the dyno, I drive it, I put heat in the transmission, I adapt the clutch. We do a trim log, make sure the trims are partial throttle. We start with the wastegate hit, and the way he's just going through everything. He gave me fucking anxiety. I'm like, what are you doing going through like individual cylinder trims? He's going through all these tables. I'm like, bro, I've
professional tuner.
You're not starting from fucking scratch though, bro. We've tuned 100 cars, like, and so.
And what's that supposed to Hey, I'm a perfectionist.
Okay. So he's going, he's not doing anything wrong, right? I mean, I'm used to doing certain things, and he's just doing them his ways. And it kind of like, that's the one thing, like, you know what? I don't need your help here. Give me the fucking laptop. You build motors. So I kind of said, like, you fucking suck at his brother. I watched his brother do a car one time. And, everybody's got their own style. And I'm watching his brother fucking do a thing. I'm like, damn, it's just 50 ways to skin a cow. Okay? Not necessarily that it's wrong. Okay? Clearly this guy will fucking run circles around me. I know that. But it was funny because I talked some shit to him, and he comes off of this big badass Australian, you fucking cunt and this and this and that. I'm like, you suck at tuning. Oh, I couldn't hear the end of it. I couldn't fucking hear the end of that one. I was getting texts at 10 o'clock at night. Well, how's your internet tuning doing? I'm like, oh, fuck you.
Because the car was on there for a day waiting for him to get replies. I'm just straight up honest. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I just wanted to show him that who's the master. That was it. Just show him the master.
So do we have some proof? Was there some?
We have no fucking proof. We're going to let him stick to his engine building. And that's fucking it. I don't need his hand in there right now.
I got some sound effects.
But that's it. I know clearly the guy could fucking tune, but it gave me anxiety. Like, just give me the fucking laptop.
Well, I just know because like he was walking over here, I could tell, and he's like flustered because I hear his shuffle. He's like. He's got his laptop. I was like, I don't want him to anymore. I was like, oh, no. That's between you guys. I was like, I'm not going to tell him. He's going to call cunt from here until the next year.
The thing is, it's a stock motor. It's the shit that we always do. Now, granted, not all bullshit aside, those fucking big motors we're doing out there with the huge turbos, huge everything, that's a different story, right? I mean, the VE tables, everything is comparing an apple to an orange, right? So at that point, here you go. It's your fucking motor. Have at it. Do what you want to do with your motor, right? It's his design. He built it. But what we have going on is a program that we've already had running, right? And there's nothing wrong. He was just looking around, and at that time, I was just kind of not in a hurry, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why are you opening that tab? Why are you looking there? Why are you looking there? We're like, let's get to fucking doing what we need to do.
Hey, when you got a beautiful looking woman, what do?
I get right to the fucking show.
I go every inch. Yeah.
See, I'm like to do this, look at that, do this. You know what I mean? Like, by the time you're there, you're already finished. You know what I mean? Nothing there. Alex is like the guy in the little room with the little rabbit.
I may or may not have seen that in action. So, but that might actually be a good way to wrap up this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yep. Thanks to our special guest and new in-house engine building Mr. Mick. Cunt, the engine cunt.
Not a tuner, Mick.
Yeah, I'll let you guys finish that up. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you soon.
See you.